Hello guys, back to our newest video. This is part 23 actually, and we're just going to continue texturing. Probably we're going to go through a little more methods to do some more stuff. But yeah, basically we kind of know everything that is needed to be known for getting our textures right for our amazing train. So with that being said, please click the like on the video, click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, leave a comment, tell me what do you think about the series, and again, the question stays, what do you think about the newest Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game? It's a question I put on the last video, and I'm still very curious of your answers. And yeah, with that being said, let's make this train get some life to it. Okay, so this is where we've got so far. So what I'm thinking is we will do the chimney, the AirCon, and maybe a little bit of modifications to the cylinder with holes here. And basically we'll just do the everything that's on the upper part of our train, of our main cylinder anyway. And basically in the next 2 or 3 videos, we will finish the texturing part, and we will do it properly so we have an amazing model to look forward to. So with that being said, let's first get here to this protection of the chimney, right? So we have it right here. This is in render mode, in case you're wondering why it's looking a little different from just before. All right, so what do we need to do? Right, here we have the gradient and the noise right there, which is pretty good. But we will need to do basically the same trick we did for our beautiful main cylinder there. So basically we'll get this to add. Alright, so all we had to do, so we had a mixed color to add, and then I already put the image texture right here. My camera stopped, so I didn't realize until it was already here. So create just like last time, image texture 2K and all that good stuff. Connect it to the A point, and then the noise texture and the color ramp goes to B. And this is basically how it should look, more or less. You can play around with them. It doesn't really matter that much. It's really like based on what you really want from now on. Okay, having all this is how this looks right now for us, right? And the reason it looks that way is because of these two, right? We have now the dark iron on the down side. So if the dark iron is up, we actually get the reverse of this, which makes sense. But we will do it this way. That's pretty good. And I think the snow should be either like super small. I'm gonna make it 600. Like you can see a tiny little bit of it, but from up here it's not looking like something to see really. And the reason is because up here I don't really want that much snow, and I explain kind of why. Because in my head it's like this chimney, like this part, it will be hot and it will melt most of it, but this one is the protection, so the more you go down, the less the snow melts. I don't know, maybe it's a wrong idea, but hey, it's my idea. Okay, and now again, play with the values until you get really what you want. So something like this maybe kind of works for me. Okay, and now we can go to texture paint, just like last time. And again, test to see that this does what it has to do, and as you can see, it does. So white value will clean the snow, which is a good thing, which is exactly what we want. So let me just actually get for a second there, my pen. Okay, and here's the deal. This will be an effect that we will use for some other stuff as well. So, you know, I think it's super useful. But don't get scared by it, alright? Don't get scared if you don't understand it. It's perfectly normal. You can get used to stuff like this. So first things, I'm going to delete some of this. No, not fully deleting it, of course. It's gonna be more or less in this area. But, let's see what we get. So as you can see, it does work. But it's also a lot about the pen pressure, so. Let's actually make this a little smaller. So let's actually go like 10. Um, play around with it. So again, if you don't have a pen and the pen pressure stuff, it doesn't really matter. You can always go for the also really cool strength. So you can play with the strength and the radius on the mouse, and it will work just fine. Alright, so when you do this, I had a problem. I couldn't really put snow back on it, so I was pretty confused of why that happened, but I realized it now. It's because of the blend. So if you have the blend only to add, this will lighten stuff, which means even if you're on the black color, it's not going to do anything really. So if we move this to mix, for example, we will see something. And if you want an even better result with that, again, multiply will darken stuff. So there we go. It will also work. Also, you can play with the pen pressure, or if you don't have pen pressure, you can, use the strength to play around with. Yeah. Also, I will excuse myself for the sound. I know the sound doesn't look that well. The sound will not sound perfect because um, I don't have my mic now. Well, my headphones really with a mic. So the ones I'm using right now are not ideal for this kind of stuff. I think it will work out pretty well. And now with the multiply, you can see we're going to have the other problem where we can't delete it. So in my opinion, mix is kind of working the best because it's able to do both of it. So we're just going to have this edge done. I'm going to speed this process up, so see you at the end. All right, so um, that's kind of it. At least as far as I'm concerned, I think it looks pretty good. Again, you should actually be doing as much as you want and play around with them as much as you think it would be worth. But right now, yeah, I would say that actually looks super good. I love it. All right, so having this, right, we're going to actually move on to go to shading, and instead of the cylinder, the actually protection there, we actually go to the actual chimney. Chimney, sorry, not chimney, which has a bronze texture that we took from Landed Kit, if you remember. So it is being said, it's gonna be more or less, you know, the usual, which means we're going to get a mixed shader, of course. That will just put in right about here, and then let's actually get a geometry node. We're not probably going to use this for this one because this is supposed to be kind of hot as well. So this with maybe the color ramp, and let's see what it says. Okay, we need to darken this, and let's see where the best would be. Maybe kind of somewhere there, and let's lighten them up quite a bit. Well, maybe not as much, but like something like this. Right, and having this, you know, we can have snow like in those more exterior parts. See how this looks. And if we like it, we're actually going to give it, even though I don't think it makes that much sense, considering this should still be pretty hot. But again, it doesn't have to make sense necessarily. It's okay. So what we need to put is actually Shift A, go to group, and the snow node we've created, and connect that. There you have it. We got the snow. Unlike the edges. So yes, this is not going to be full of snow or anything, but it will have, even though we did say, oh, but you know, the edges should not have that. Actually, now that I say it, I don't really like the idea. So let's take this out. Let's put an ambient occlusion now and see what that gives us. Put it here, and let's see where we should have this. This is definitely not helping me that much, but let's see if I take this, make also this dark, right, and kind of get it almost close to where the white cannot escape. So we have only the upper part that's actually going to give us snow. This is how it's going to look, like the only upper part of the chimney will work. So you can also put like, you know, other black parts of the nose to help you out with the mask. And you know what, I kind of like it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Or at least, even if it doesn't make sense, it looks better. Okay. This being said, we also have an air cooler here, or air conditioner or something. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. And because it is back here, right? Actually, wait, before that, the whole cylinder, because I said I want to make something about it. So what I wanted to do about it is, well, first deactivate the subdivision for a second. Go to the materials so that we can better see what's going on. Save, by the way, and let's select all the faces. Just like so. And we will put another material to it. We will assign it, and we will call this cylinder file. Yeah, of course I wrote it wrong. Me and spelling are not the best friends apparently when I'm filming. Okay, so the reason I did this, right, is this is going to be an emission, nothing we haven't done before, nothing I can apparently see also. So the reason for it, let's make this like a 20 maybe. It's because I kind of want this to have a very you know, like that there's fire inside, there's something there. So yeah, I want to give that vibe. So select similar. Mm, maybe this will work. I'm not sure really. Maybe parameter? Nope, definitely not. Select similar. I didn't use this a lot per se, so face regions. Oh yeah, apparently face regions, if you, well, get out of this, it's working perfectly. And if we click assign, it's gonna be exactly what we need. So when we activate the subdivision again, this is how it's gonna look like. You know, we can play with the emission strength if we need to. Get to render mode, see what this looks like. This is way too strong. So let's come and give it like a 10. It's a little better. Maybe we want to make this a little closer to like the red color. And yeah, it looks much better. Maybe something like that. Let's see. Yep, definitely. So yeah, it's you know, giving vibe to our object, and I think that's cool. All right, so for this one, um, we have the red metal that we did use, and we actually can select a new material. Just call it AirCon. All right, delete this, and for a group, choose the red metal that we've created. It's basically the one we took from Blender Kit. I just grouped it into this node, right? So this is what we have. This is what you need to have inside. And you just get this, plug this in the surface, and there it is, right? Also, this should go with a UV map, so you know, we're using exactly what we need. And the reason for it again is to basically have the material similar to the one we have on the main cylinder, because I think that makes more sense. Okay, this being done, we can now have a mix shader. Probably the most useful nodes we have. Node, sorry, we have. All right, so we have this. We'll have this node, of course. And this is gonna look awful because the node doesn't know where it needs to stay. So that's why we need a gradient texture. Yes, for this we'll use a gradient because it has a lot of edges and stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. This will, of course, you know, Control T to have all the objects here. The screencast doesn't work, does it? What's going on? Alright, so here we're back. So apparently, you have to activate the screencast in the tab you are for it to work. So if it's you know, activated here, it works. If you're in here, it's not working until you deactivate it. Activate it again, and now it's gonna work. This is kind of dumb to me, but you know, maybe it's the way it has to work. I don't know. Okay, so where we left off is right here with our AirCon. So what we need is, of course, a noise texture. I think you all kind of got used to this one so far. Also, by the way, wait, a color ramp, because first we need to, you know, play around with our gradient. So we should make, I think it's a Y. It needs to be 90. And now, yeah, that's perfect. You do something like this. Maybe have a middleman, and play around with the values, you know, the way we want. I think this looks pretty okay, at least in my opinion. So this could work pretty fine. And now the noise texture. let's also give it a texture and a mapping node. And a color ramp, of course. And we get our mix color in there. Good. We will put the gradient at the factorial because we already know what's gonna happen, right? So I need this. We set a mix node to add, and we will also need image texture. Let's create our image, which is gonna be called AirCon underline snow. Of course, you can name it whatever you want. Let's make it 2K for a better resolution, and there we are. And we'll have this. By the way, for this to work, we will need the red metal to actually be down while the snow is up here. They should more or less do. The noise will be on the B color, kind of here. And let's actually take this up. The detail on 8.5 should do this. I know on 8.5 also. And let's make the noise be way less noticeable on this one. Something like that. Like very hard to be seen. It's there, but it's not too big. And if I make this to 100, I can select a little bigger parts, but nothing crazy. Something like that. I think it looking good. But of course, this is not okay. We need to reverse the colors here. Kind of like that. Yeah, something like that should do. Okay, perfect. And now, everyone's favorite part, texture painting. Of course, let's choose the AirCon snow. All right, and this is the UV map of our, beautiful AirCon. So let's see if this works properly, right? So white and test it out, and it's working amazingly. That's what I love to see. All right, so I'm just going to do, of course, like the edges and all the parts I want to not look. For this one though, for example, what I want you guys to do, we will free all this. Now, I don't know if you guys have this or not, like I do, but I'm going to take all the snow out of this zone right here, of those little extrusions we've created for this. So, other than that, just play around with it. The edges, in my opinion, are the main thing. And I'm not gonna, keep this going. I'm going to just speed the video up. So, see you when we finish. Alright, so I did this edge, and now I thought about it. What if we have a handprint on our cylinder? Look pretty good. So just like last time, I'm gonna make a texture. It's gonna be an image texture, and I did download. Now, if you know how to download, how to draw the hand, that's amazing. But I don't. So I downloaded the texture. That's just a hand, right? Because of it, um, what's going on? Why can't I see it? Let me see actually if. Oh, now I see it. Okay. There was, I don't know what it was. So yeah, we can see right here, right? Perfect. So we will need this to be white, right? Like, I don't know if purely white per se, we'll have to see, but still. So let's move it. Let's, rotate it, shrink it a little bit. Remember the, well, let me show you. So, oh, okay. So Control and right click to rotate, Shift and right click to, scale, and just right click to move. So for all those of you that don't remember that, please do. And that's our hand, right? That's where we have it. And what we need to do right now is to, actually, let me get this up. Basically, this should, in theory, not work. Probably the reason for it is because the hand is purely black already, so they already see it as that, which means we will actually, like if I draw it here, see, it's working, but it's putting snow on. So I can't have that. I need it to be reversed, but I cannot reverse it, at least not now, at least not like this. So what exactly can I do? Well, I could do two things, right? I could either come back into the shading node and, play around and make another image texture and basically use that. That's a possibility. Absolutely. Uh, absolutely. But we could also tamper with the actual image. Now that's a little bit trickier, I'm not gonna lie, but we will use GIMP. The reason it's trickier is because I don't really do this usually, so you have to keep that in mind, right? So GIMP, again, it's like a Photoshop, but it's free. So, it's a Photoshop, but personally I think it's not necessarily as good, but it's doing its job, right? So let's open the image that we need. Okay, with the image here, we see it has a transparent background. That's cool. We need, however, to select the hand, right? Because, well, that's what we need. So I selected the whole hand. What I need to do now is go to Edit. So it will edit only the selected part, right? And fill with BG color. This will make our hand white. And that's perfect for us. Now, for example, being here, right? We could also, let's say, draw on it, right? Like I can draw with a black, and I have like, this brush. You can change the brushes, by the way. So it's kind of easy, right? What you need to do in GIMP, because I didn't really explain, I just realized. Fuzzy select tool kind of try to detect a geometry and select it by that. I would say right now, it's not working perfectly all the time. So in this case, it works because uh, other than hand, the background is absolutely transparent. So the fuzzy select will work properly. If that does not work, however, we would have chosen the free select tool. Now, don't worry about this. We will get into this a little later on. So, there's that. But for now, just concentrate on what we did. So, get the image, select only the hand, and change it to white, which I don't think is that hard. So, after you select it, go to Edit, which will edit only the selected part, right? And fill it with a background color. That's all we need to do. And the background color is the one you have right here. That's it. Then you can go to like, a pencil tool or like, a paintbrush or airbrush. By selecting this, you have to just keep it keep the left mouse click down, keep the selection, and then you will see the other versions that they have, right? So you can also come here to the brush and select whatever brush you would like. You can also download brushes. So, all the good stuff is here. So let's say we select this, for example, and I want to, I don't know, like highlight these parts, right? That's cool and all, but right now this is white. The color that we're doing it with, it's white, so it's not gonna work. So now that it's, well, now that I will turn it to like a dark gray, this should let me paint in. But because uh, of my uh, stencil pen, no, not stencil pen. Anyway, my digital pen, you know what I'm saying. Um, as you can see, it has a sort of offset from where I actually draw, so I need to be careful with that. And also I can change the size, so let's make it like 9 pixels. And we can draw details if we really wanna, right? And that is pretty cool. I can change it to pixel, for example, and do this like super tiny details, right? Like I don't even have to necessarily do something. It's just like, okay, I wanna you know make this like contrast stuff, so show it off a little bit more than it is. That's what I'm doing right now. And this is really just as an example of what GIMP can do and what you can use it for in Blender. We will use it later on for some more stuff. You'll see. But for now, let's say this is what I want, right? What we do after this, you don't save it, because if you save it, you save the GIMP project, which is not what we want. What we do want is to export as. So we will export it, and we will export it over the hand we have. So export, we will replace this and export it. Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to save the project at all. And now let's go back here, select it, and we will have the hand again. And now you can see it because it's not black anymore. And so this is our hand. Now, when we actually do draw over it, there it is. The hand will be perfectly black. How about that? It's a pretty cool effect. It's not, anything crazy, and I do think it adds a lot. So this is it. This is so easy to do, and yet so effective. And I mean, look at that. If that does not give us like small details to look forward to, I don't know what does, right? So I think it's pretty cool. And it's a really good trick for you guys to have. So again, you know, um, this is more or less a thing of, smaller details. It's not something, honestly, I thought I'm going to do right now, but we will do this a little later on as well. But yeah, this is the power of texture painting, right? You put a texture, which can be an image, just draw over it, and it creates a detail that really you cannot make otherwise. So yeah, I think that's really awesome. So yeah, let's go back through, drawing the other edges and creating some more details by just painting. So that's it. And we see after that what we will do. By the way, before we actually do that, I just realized this side right here, like kind of all of it, it doesn't make any sense for it to be covered in snow. Because, I mean, how will the snow really get there, right? It makes no sense. So, you know what that means? We have to delete the snow. I do recommend, by the way, you know, let's mirror this so that we have what we need. And let's just draw like this. You know, not the biggest problem in the world, I know, but I think it's a lot more effective because people can understand better what's going on. And as much as I said, we don't do technical stuff, if you're going to do like realistic stuff, you need to think a little bit about how will things work. Would snow really get there? Not really. I mean, maybe a little bit of it, but you know, nothing too crazy, especially not how much we had. So, you know, there's that. So, if we have the chance to change that, why not to? So I'm gonna do that and see you guys right after. All right, we're back, and that's it. Then you know, the AirCon. Of course, there are still, you know, like small little details that can be done here and there, but you know, not that big of a deal. Wait, not the strength, the radius. Yeah, it's a mile. And yeah, I'm trying to like have, you know, some really small. Oh, wait. I think I changed the stroke here. Yeah, that's what I was doing. That weird stuff there. Other than that, really cool. And yeah, I'm just, you know, adding small little details, nothing um, incredible or anything like that. It doesn't have to be. Now does it? Actually, I don't want that, because I don't want it to look too similar. So, changing the mirror. Also, getting this kind of like up, actually down. Yeah, just like that. You know, create small little intricacies. There you have it. And we need to save this image as well. Make sure you don't forget about it. Save your image, save your work. And with this being said, we move up to the next object, which will be, well, anything else that's, you know, on the upper part. For example, the bar. And after the bar, I have two things, right? The preferences first, which apparently I forgot to open right here. And let's load in recent and the trains. Good. So I kind of like this vibe, right? Like the golden look of the bars. I don't know, to me it's just more appealing. This also has the same thing. The red also looks pretty interesting though. And Hogwarts has a half and half. They're like, okay, on the black part we go black, on the other one we go red. But I don't want this. I don't know. I just don't like it as much. So I decided we're going to go with a golden version, which, if you remember, we already have. Actually, let's say upper bar. All right, and actually we needed this, but we will take the group of the gold paint from Polygon. So let's put the base color, the roughness, the metallic, and of course the normal, so that we have, you know, our golden bar, which has looked pretty good. And what we can do to it is maybe make it less saturated, somewhere kind of there, so it's like golden but not, you know, too crazy. And the others will have kind of the same thing, but before that, of course, we need some snow. We always need snow. I guess it's our thing now. So we'll bring in a mix shader node. All right, put it right there, and let's create also maybe a gradient texture. We'll have to play with it though pretty well. And let's actually have a color map. And let's make sure this is doing what we need. So first, Y to 90. Beautiful. All right. And let's see how this affects us. So, all right, it's doing and it's not doing what we want at the same time. So, yeah, there's that. So the reason I'm saying it's doing what we want, it's because of this. It's basically doing what we want, but you know, the upper part here, because we've made it like higher than, you know, the others, it's not gonna do that. It's gonna be actually too much for it, which it's actually not necessarily bad, but I also don't love it. So what can we do? Well, we will add a new color, of course, and put it, well, not this one, and put it behind it, behind the white value, make it black, and have it something like, you know, where we want it to, something like that maybe. So let's have that. See how this will look, right? And apply this as a factor, and then bring in our snow group and plug this in, and let's see what we get. There you have it, our beautiful snowish, actually, snowish bar, right? And then, of course, we can play around with our values from the snow node. Now, let's say we don't want to, you know, modify it on the others as well. So we will duplicate this. So this is going to be separate from all the other nodes. The reason for it is because we will want this to be different. So we'll do this. And, you know, increase the detail so that it's way finer. And actually not as much. 5.5 should do a better job. Much better. Because we have to also be able to notice it, at least a little bit. Actually, let's go to shading because we have it on render. And now we have the snow right here, as you can all see. All right. Actually, wait, I did something wrong. So we don't want a black value up here, right? We want a black value rather like this. So what we will do is make another color. Move this one here. And this one will be a lot towards white, but not that much. Like, yes, it will be white, but you know, um, white-ish, not super white necessarily. So maybe something like this. All right. And let's see now what this looks like. I think this should look pretty good. And it definitely looks interesting. So it's not a lot you have to do, right? It's like what you need. Okay. This, of course, we can give it the upper bar treatment. However, we'll duplicate this and call it support bar. Actually, bars. Okay, perfect. The reason we don't do that is because we don't want them like this, right? We don't want them to be this kind of gradient. And also for them, I think, you know, the black and white color should be more than enough. But again, it depends on where it's put. So this one actually could probably do much better. Well, actually not like this. Need to see which one we'll need to modify. It's not as bad, that's for sure. Okay, so there we have it actually. Kind of apparently. Wait, did this work? But only if it's. But, so it definitely works that way. And if I reverse the colors, it's not working. Whatever is that? Maybe if you do it like that, so it wouldn't make any sense, would it? Interesting. I know, actually, wait, no, that was the correct way. What was I doing? So yeah, no, this is cool. This is what we need, right? But just like on all the others, we will need to have like a fallout. Let's make this with ease so that we have a better fallout there. And now we have all of this. And so when we do have the transition there you have it. It's gonna be snow, but it's not gonna be like full of snow, right? So this will work pretty fine. And these ones here can have, you know, support. What do we call it? What's going on? Oh, I missed the support. Okay. So let's save. This one can have the support bar stuff. Also duplicate it and just call it holding bars. Alright. And again, same idea, right? We just play around with this so we got exactly what we need. And I did it the wrong color, didn't I? And as you can guys see, alright, this is rather the right way to put it. So all you need to do is, you know, get this as much as you want. Is the coloring. Kind of like there. But we're not gonna spend this much time on this ones like we spend on the others, like on the main cylinder, to, you know, actually drawing it and all that, because there's no reason. I mean, look at this. This looks pretty good, doesn't it? It doesn't have all that. It doesn't need to do. So I would love for you guys to leave me in the comments. Do you want the golden bars, or would you like it to make more like the Hogwarts, you know, example, which is half black, half red, right? Because that's a really good question. All right, so we have all this, and now, of course, there are two more things that we have to put together, which were a reference in our actual background image. So the question is, what color should we make this, right? And I have an idea. I don't know if this will work, but I'm curious. What if we give it the main cylinders? You know, the main cylinders. What's it called? Material. Right. So I duplicated it and call this. What was it? Because I always forget. I forget how I name my objects. I really should remember that better. Lateral tubes. Well, that's not really what they are, but sure. Lateral tubes. So because of this, we can play around with a gradient here. Because, for example, this will be 0, so that this is, you know, just like there, the middle. Also, the gradient here that controls everything for us will need to be minus 90, and it covers, well, everything really. which means we need to take care of it, right? So okay, so it's the pointiness of this one that it is right now. Okay. Okay, this can do for like the dust stuff. While for this one, let me see. So first of all, we don't need this. I think the A value in this case should be the snow. I will actually put it as a mixed color, or maybe even a multiply. Good too. Now we can do, mix and gradient, just like we did in the original version. And now it's all about where is our gradient, right? So 19, and there we have it. Let me see actually what we see. Right, so the black color is snow, everything else is not. So actually, no, yeah, I'm right. So no, white is no. Yeah, I'm getting crazy. Sorry. So we can do this. Of course, again, we could make details. And if you want to make details, I actually would advise you to. Again, all you would have to do is, put that image there again. Um, nothing too crazy. I'll probably do that off camera actually. But I want you guys, this is your homework, right? That's what you have to do if you want it. I would think that that's a cool idea for you guys. This will have its own material, which is tube holder. And let me get to see the material. This will have also a golden look to it. So the gold paint. These are gonna be the materials we're going to use. I don't think we'll add crazy other bunch, not to the IOR, but to the roughness. And the reason for it is because I don't like to use a lot of colors because I think that takes a lot out of the I don't know, whole image of the scene. So I prefer to have this you know controlled color scheme, I would say. And I think this has a nice contrast. It looks good and it looks more interesting. Just like there, we'll have the saturation like a 2 point, not a 2.5, minus 2.5. So it's, a little dirtier. And actually, I don't know, should we make this minus? Because I really liked it, like this. Now, you know what? No saturation. No, actually minus saturation. We'll leave it as it was. Because I think it looked better. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So 0 for this. 0 for my idea also, because it was my bad. Mix shader now. Well, if I could spell it right, probably Blender would help me out with it. Good. We have this, and now a beautiful gradient texture should do. Also, let's move it up a little bit. Get the texture coordinate and the mapping node, and a color ramp. You'll probably be experts with these 3 or 4 nodes because, let's be honest, we use them like crazy. Okay, so we have this 90 to the Y, and let's see what we get, right? Alright, not a good thing. If we turn it around, it's not as bad, per se. What if we make it a 0? What does that give us? Okay, the x value might actually be the helpful one. I'm trying to use like the normal of the body because that one makes a little more sense to help in these cases. And as it turns out, it does, but not fully. Like it does up to a point. Try to figure out where's the point, what's really stopping it. Let's call it. But actually, we could reverse. Or not. Wait, again. It was good. This is perfect. What am I doing? So this is perfect because we don't want the snow to be down there, right? And we could, forcibly put a black color even lower. So we'll go something like this maybe. This could be minus 45. And just that down part would not have snow on it. However, though, we do need this part to also not have snow on it. It's not like we'll see it per se, but actually, I think I'm complicating this too much. How about not an ambient, geometry? So geometry node, let's have the normals, color ramp it. That's what I get. Interesting. Absolutely, that's two parts we don't need together. It's like, yeah, that's what you get. So, no. Not a good one. Okay, no. What about ambient occlusion though? Okay, ambient occlusion does a pretty well job. And you might say, but it's the reverse. And I would say, exactly. So all you have to do, reverse. And so if it's something you will learn from these texturing videos, you just have to reverse. Something doesn't work, reverse. Actually, let's have all of these, see what it does. It's doing a good job. We need to ease up the ambient occlusion, so that we have this, but we also need to cover that part, the lower part up. Now we could draw on top of it, so that's the thing with the drawing. We have total control over exactly where the snow goes, which is a good thing. However, you can play around with it afterwards. You need to, keep painting in and drawing and stuff, which, yes, it can be helpful sometimes, but I don't really love the idea of it too much anyway. So, we already know what can do the job there. That's a gradient texture. Let's actually have a color ramp in here as well. So let's just duplicate this. And now let's see what this gives us. We need it to cover this part. That's about it. We don't need much more than that. So the white can take that part and kind of like there, do its job. So that's what I was talking about. We only need to have that. If we do that, it's more or less done. So there we have it. That's our mask. So you have to think about the mask, more or less, because I don't think I explained it very well. So a mask is like a map, right? Wherever white is, you tell the colors you should stay there. Wherever the black is, you tell the color you control, don't go there. And wherever gray is, it's more or less like, yes, you can go there, but not totally, right? Like you have to be there and not be there. So, it's like a middle point between the two. So you have to look at the textures, like the ambient occlusion, the gradient texture, the noise texture, like at I don't know, parts that will just tell the colors you want to put on, or the materials you want to put on your bodies, where to be, and that's about it. Like if you get that, I think that's the key to great textures. At least for me, it was definitely a big point where I started creating much better textures, at least in my opinion. I think my texturing skills is much, much better than it ever has been before. So, there's that. Of course, we could add like a noise texture also on the black part. So let me actually do that. The reason is I don't want it to be fully gold. I don't like that. So let's actually hide these two. Kind of like that. And let's put it here. Scale it kind of about 500 maybe. Yes, we will do a pretty big one, 5.5, and the detail 8.5. Okay, make this a 4D, and also of course the color ramp needs to be in because we need to have control over what we do. So make it rather blacker-ish, so we see some details but not too much. Maybe like this. And let's move this. So all these parts we can really just call them like snow masks, because I said misc. Anyway, that's what they are. They're masks for where the snow to be. So pretty accurate if you ask me. And then you can just play around, make it a little more look like that or not. It's just a matter of opinions and how you want that to be. So I'm gonna stop right there for this video because we're pretty much done with the upper parts. Now, if you want to create other details or you want to put stuff around, you can just do. I will probably do so. I will do some off camera, but I want you guys to try to do them as well by yourselves. So with that being said, this is kind of it. So let's get to the outro. Alright guys, this is it for this video. As I probably said already, I'm sorry for the sound. I know it's not the best sound, but because again, I forgot my headphones with the actual mic that I usually use, and I'm not home for this one. So I would actually want you guys to, you know, take the advice I gave you. Try to create your own details. Try to create your own little patterns for the snow and stuff like that. And you know what? I would love for you to show me what you've created. My Instagram page is always down there. So also my Twitter page is there. So if you want to show them, please go ahead. And with that being said, this is the upper part of the train. I think it's pretty much done. And we will go on with the other stuff in the next videos. Again, the next 2 or 3 videos are gonna be done for the texturing. So thank you guys very much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for staying up till the end, and what can I say? I really appreciate you guys so much. I usually, do the whole like, subscribe stuff, but you know what? I think it's kind of annoying from time to time, so I'm gonna leave it a little bit out with that. So thank you and have a great weekend. Bye, guys.